What happened to Call of Duty Zombies? What's missing most from modern video games is perhaps the side modes. You know, the arcade mini-games, map editors, instant replays, wave defenses.
One left.
I love that sound. That lives rent-free in my...
Mission failed. We'll get 'em next time.
Back in the 2000s and 2010s, we came to expect the AAA blockbuster franchises to not just deliver solid single-player stories and online multiplayer, but also implement these special side modes and bonuses. These went beyond simple gimmicks. They were fully fleshed out and even saw levels of care that allowed them to blow up into very popular experiences that rivaled the popularity of the main parts of the game. It just started to become expected that a main menu would be flushed out with tons of extra options on new, diverse ways to play the game. These modes were insanely popular. So what happened? Why is the side mode so rare? And when side modes do make a return today, why do they never live up to the hype?
How are you always in danger?
He said, help. Up.
Halo and Call of Duty were huge. Both these bombastic, hugely successful shooters were packed full of love and attention. Easter eggs and bonuses littered these games, but it was a little mode in Halo 3 that changed the franchise forever. Forge, a limited map editor which allowed players to hop into a lobby and edit maps with their friends. I probably logged more hours into Forge than Campaign in Halo 3. It was a chill editor to just mess around in whenever I wasn't in the mood to replay the campaign or sweat in multiplayer, but still wanted to play Halo. This map editor was accompanied by a new theater mode, a way to watch previous games, take screenshots, and capture replays. Wrapping all this together was the new file share system. This was basically Halo's social media page. Yeah, Halo pioneered social media before it took off. We had Twitter, Pinterest, and for some, Tinder. Halo exemplified these more creative types of side modes. But Halo didn't necessarily invent these modes. Other genres dabbled in them as well. Racing games often included replay modes, similar to Halo 3's theater. I specifically remember watching my races and crash matches in Burnout Revenge, within an instant replay mode dated before AAA shooters made their own interpretations. These little modes made it easy for anyone to share content around their favorite games and added new ways to enjoy them. Then came the PVE modes, including Wave Defense, Survival, and Horde modes. These were great to just kick back on the couch with friends and family as you mercilessly slaughter thousands of virtual enemies. Rainbow Six Vegas' Terrorist Hunt mode is iconic. You and your co-op partner team up to eliminate the dumbest bad guy NPCs known to man in a breach and clear fest of tactics and throwing C4 at rappel ropes and ladders. Seriously, the enemies in this game were dumb.
Set, start, tough luck, on.
Then came Halo's Firefight mode. Firefight was a great way to repackage the Covenant enemies from the campaign that were already enjoyable to fight against. Couple this with limited equipment and an ever-shrinking respawn counter, and Firefight became a great avenue for more laid-back gameplay on split screen or online, where you would team up with the same players you normally were pitted against in matchmaking. Then came Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. No, not you, you're terrible. Spec Ops. This provided a series of side challenges and minigames based off levels from the single player. There were multiple wave defense modes, as well as a straight-up racing minigame. Yeah, there was something genuinely special about being able to kick it back and couch co-op with a friend or family member, holding on for dear life against waves of digital Russian soldiers and a Virginia suburban Burger King. Spec Ops appealed to every American's power fantasy of living out their Red Dawn, commie-slaughtering fantasies. Come to think of it, I think Modern Warfare 2 is American propaganda. Well, I guess Propaganda is one of my favorite games of all time. These wave defense style modes felt like a treat when they were packaged with our favorite games, and because of this, they became extremely popular. But we've yet to mention perhaps the biggest wave defense mode of the mid-2010s. The shock from players upon finishing the grittiest and most disturbing Call of Duty story to date before being whiplashed into a horror survival arcade mode is something I wish I could have experienced myself. Though I did play it back then, I kinda already spoiled it and knew it was in the game before finishing the story. Nazi zombies. This wave defense mode wasn't meant to be much at first. The characters, generic Marines. The round end music, reused from a song played in campaign. The map, recycled from a story mission. Features, bare bones. A spooky horror theme with arcade gameplay and economy, purchasable weapons, buyable doors, and most importantly, gambling.
Let's go gambling!
Okay, let's be real, the reason Zombies is so successful is because of the mystery box. Let's face it, gambling is awesome. The dopamine rush of pulling a ray gun from the box was unparalleled. This zombie gore fest was not expected to be much more than a secret bonus level after campaign was completed, kinda like a little reward for beating this story. What wasn't expected is how popular it quickly became. Players straight up loved Zombies, because, that's right, say it with me, gambling. Well, not just that, but also the power-ups, the strategy, risk-reward gameplay, and the World War II theme chock full of all our favorite weapons. The modes saw ambitious new maps thrown in with new features, including perks, traps, and more terrifying themes, which all could be yours for little microtransactions in the DLC store. But Zombies hit peak popularity in subsequent releases. Black Ops followed up on Nazi Zombies' success, but with more ambition. Often forgotten was the secret cheat code you had to type into the terminal to unlock the Dead Ops Arcade, which is a fully fledged top-down twin-stick shooter arcade zombies mode that they threw in for some reason. Either way, it's pretty sick. It's cool that it's here. Treyarch amplified this even further by bringing former presidents John F. Kennedy and Nixon back from the dead to reprise their roles in a new Zombies map unlocked after campaign completion.
Sounds like someone breaking in!
Just a storm, Dick. Sit down.
Speaking of innovation, Halo's staple side mode saw evolution in the sequels as well. Massively improved capabilities in the monster of a map called Forge World, PvP firefight modes where one player fights alongside the Covenant, and more. Reach upped the ante as other franchises struggled to keep up with a similar volume of content. Some side modes were so beloved that they even debuted in standalone games. Call of Duty Zombies became a mobile game series that I recall playing on my garbage iPod Touch 4. You remember the iPod Touch? Yes, I'm that old. Perhaps the best example of this is Geometry Wars. This started out as an arcade cabinet minigame in the Project Gotham racing series. I've never even heard of this racing game. This abstract top-down shape-slaughtering seizure fest was so addictive, it became a standalone series of games that outlived its original franchise. The minigame was ripped from the game and sold on the Xbox Live Marketplace during the 360 days, and soon Gotham Racing's last release was in 2009, while Geometry Wars' last release launched in 2016. So if these modes were so popular and successful, where did they go? You already know the story by now. It's when an art form goes from niche innovation to mainstream. Corporate interests take over to squeeze dollars out of the average consumer, most of which are not interested enough to go outside of the AAA industry and take a gamble on indie games and other competing products. There's a growing sense of it is what it is, with players grumbling as they buy this year's slop begrudgingly. This is what I like to call the gamer slop effect. The remarkable trend in the gaming industry of a loss of artistic integrity and quality in return for maximum profits. As you know, netcodes and video game servers are pretty terrible nowadays. Now you mix that with soulless cross promos, aggressive monetization, and finally, the cutting of and severe lacking quality of side modes, and you have the modern gaming market. We saw this in modern Halo, where the team focused on scraping together half-baked games, sacrificing community modes, and cutting Forge at launch in the last 8 years of Halo releases. Call of Duty chased after the Minecraft Hunger Games craze completely, where in one instance they cut the campaign from the game and slashed the budget of the Zombies team significantly, resulting in a dismal, shoddy ending for the Zombies storyline. And the latest Zombies release was absolute trash, being forced and crammed into the Battle Royale map. Thanks, Infinity Ward, you really went the extra mile with this one. These seem to be publisher-level decisions, as many of the veteran developers and management behind our favorite games have since moved on to other projects or retired completely. I would argue this is probably the biggest catalyst of the death of this side mode, the loss of the pioneering devs that used to head up these studios. Now these studios have a severe lack of talent and are under the iron will of their publishing companies, which usually make absolutely mind-boggling decisions. Treyarch lost Jason Blundell, who headed up the Zombies mode. Halo lost the Bungie management team, which forced this new, inexperienced team to work on Halo and release half-baked, rushed games. The Modern Warfare series suffered after the loss of Infinity Ward's top executives, who in turn went on to create Titanfall after frustration dealing with Activision. Other development studios met similar fates. Key members of the gaming industry parted ways with their companies to start new projects and escape their publishers. Without these veteran devs, modern AAA games have become completely aimless. But hey, if you miss Zombies, pick up Black Ops 3 on Steam and run one of the thousands of custom modded maps with friends. Missing new Halo experiences? Well, the Master Chief Collection is fairly affordable and has a huge modding community. And if old games aren't your thing, give indie gaming a chance. You won't be disappointed. Like and sub if you enjoyed. As always, see y'all on the next one. The after credit secret bonus mode. Man, I loved these secrets and little bonuses that developers used to put in their games. These little bits of extra effort and attention to detail just showed that the developers really cared. Such as Museum here from Modern Warfare 2, which you would enter into after beating the campaign. I think it's safe to say that innovation is pretty much dead as far as the AAA publishers and studios are concerned, but like I said again, there's always new experiences, new indie games, or new franchises to capture our interest and give us the types of games we really want. So much like how the original developers behind our fan favorite games have since moved on from their projects, I think it's time we do the same. Of course, you can always go back and play these games. In fact, I highly recommend it. But I think it's time we find something new.